Hello students, session 5 soft skills, topic decision making and problem solving strategies. So decision making, why decision making, or what is meant by decision making? So decision making requires only when there is a solution or when you are trying to take an action. So if something has to be done, whether you are going to do it without any decision or you are going to plan. So decision making requires certain strategies, and here we are going to see from the problem solving strategy. So if there is a problem, to provide a solution, so what is the decision that is to be taken and what strategies here means what plans we are going to chart it out and how it is to be executed. So that is what we are going to see for the day. And decision making involves applied thinking, or it is evolving around an applied thinking. So it leads to certain solution, or solution can be extracted only if it is well applied in the form of thoughts. So decision making is a key skill in the workplace and is particularly important if you want to be an effective leader. Whether you are deciding which person to hire, which supplier to use, or which strategy to pursue, the ability to make a good decision with available information is vital. How you go about making a decision can involve as many changes or as many choices as the decision itself. Sometimes you have to take charge and decide what to do on your own, but you don't want to appear autocratic to your team, particularly in situations where you need their input. At other times, it is better to make a decision based on the group consensus, but this can use up precious time and resources. So how do you decide which approach is best? So decision making is accompanied by problem solving and creative thinking. So it is about deciding what action to take. It usually involves choice between options. A leader who aspires to excellence obviously has a vested interest in seeing that the best decisions are taken, and problem solving is usually a solution, an answer, or a conclusion, and the problems are solved in the optimum way and that the creative ideas are being implemented. So creative thinking is the other factor. It is the outcome of creative thinking. By contrast is new ideas. The creative thinking gets good ideas for tomorrow's business flow freely. And usually critical thinking skills are applied in decision making by making decisions. First and foremost thing, recognizing decisions. Decisions are more than wishes or desires. There is a world of difference between I wish I could be a better student and I will take more powerful notes, read with greater retention, and review my class notes daily. Deciding to eat fruit for dessert instead of ice cream rules out the next trip to the ice cream store. Establish priorities. Some decisions are trivial. No matter what the outcome, your life is not affected much. Other decisions can shape your circumstances for years. Devote more time and energy to the decisions with big outcomes. Base decisions on your life plan or life plan. The benefit of having long-term goals for our lives is that they provide a basis for many of our daily decisions. Being certain about what we want to accomplish and this year and this month takes today's choices more clear. Balance learning styles in decision making. To make decisions more effectively, use all the 4 modes of learning that we have seen earlier. So the key is to balance reflection with action and thinking with experience. First, take the time to think creatively and generate many opinions or options. Then think creatively or critically about the possible consequences of each option before choosing one. Remember, however, that thinking is no substitute for experience. Act on your chosen option and notice what happens. If you are not getting the results you want, then quickly return to creative thinking to invent new options. Choose an overall strategy. Every time when you make a decision, you choose a strategy. Even when you are not aware of it, effective decision makers can articulate and choose from among several strategies. For example, find all the available options and choose one deliberately. Save this strategy for times when you are having a relatively smaller number of options, each of which leads to noticeably different results. Find all the available options and choose one randomly. This strategy can be risky. Save it for times when your options are basically similar and fairness is the main issue. Limit the options and then choose. When deciding such search engine to use, visit many search sites and then narrow the list down to 2 or 3 from which to choose. Use time as an ally. Sometimes we face dilemmas, situations in which any course of action leads to undesirable consequences. In such cases, consider putting a decision on hold. Wait it out. Do nothing until the circumstances change, making one alternative clearly preferable to another. Use intuition. Some decisions seems to make themselves. A solution pops into your mind and you gain newfound clarity. Using intuition is not the same as forgetting about the decision or refusing to make it. Intuitive decisions usually arrive after we have gathered the relevant facts and faced a problem for some time. Evaluate your decision. Hindsight is a resource of insight. After you act on a decision, observe the consequences over time. Reflect on how well your decision worked and what you might have done differently. Think of choices. This final suggestion involves some creative thinking. Consider that the word decide derives from the same root as suicide and homicide. In the spirit of those words, a decision forever kills all other options. That is the kind of heavy. Instead, use the word choice and see whether it frees up your thinking. When you choose, you express a preference for one option over others. However, those options remain live possibilities for the future. Choose for today, knowing that as you gain more wisdom and experience, you choose again. Using critical thinking skills in problem solving. So, how to use that one? Think of problem solving as a process with 4 P's, that is problem, possibilities, plan and perform. So, define the problem, generate possibilities, create a plan and perform your plan. First, define the problem. To define a problem effectively, understand what a problem is, a mismatch between what you want and what you have. Problem solving is all about reducing the gap between these 2 factors. Tell the truth about what is present in your life right now without shame or blame. For example, I often get sleepy while reading my physics assignments, and after closing the book, I cannot remember what I just read. So next, describe in detail what you want. Go for specifics. I want to remain alert as I read about physics. I also want to accurately summarize each chapter I read. Remember that when we define a problem in limiting ways, our solutions nearly generate new problems. As Albert Einstein has said, the world we have made it is a result of the level of thinking we have done thus far. We cannot solve problems at the same level at which we created them. This idea has many applications for success in school. An example is a student who struggles with note taking. The problem she thinks is that her notes are too sketchy. The logical solution she decides is to take more notes. Her new goal is to write down almost everything her instructors say. No matter how fast and furiously she writes, she cannot capture all of the instructor's comments. Consider what happens when the student defines the problem in a new way. After more thought, she decides that her dilemma is not the quantity of her notes but their quality. She adopts a new format for taking notes, dividing her notes paper into two columns. In the right-hand column, she writes down only the main points of each lecture. In the left-hand column, she notes 2 or 3 supporting details for each point. Over time, this student makes the joyous discovery that these are usually just 3 or 4 core ideas to remember from each lecture. She originally thought the solution was to take more notes. What really worked was taking notes in a new way.